Hey, it's Bryan over at Cross Country Mortgage. Hope you're having a great start to your week. So first and foremost, should you buy today or should you wait until there's a crash and then you can, scoop up a great home at a low price? Well, first and foremost, I've been doing this for 21 years. The crash that happened in 2008, 2009 was completely different than what we're dealing with here today. Is there going to be a crash? I don't know. Is the value of real estate going to go down? It always does, but then it always goes back up. So the first question we have to answer is, when do we think the market's going to adjust? So there's a couple things. First and foremost, we have a shortage of homes for sale in the country. This is in most markets. So in Chicagoland, we see this in most of our markets as well. There's a couple small pockets where you'll see homes not being sold in multiple bidding situations, but a lot of the times those are homes that are a lot less desirable because they need a lot of work or they are significantly overpriced for what the seller's trying to get. So if you think about, well, should I wait until the crash? Well, what would determine a crash? What happened before was there was an extremely high amount of national debt per household back in 2008. There were overinflated values of homes with high loan-to-value loans. So most people that were going into foreclosure in 2008, 2009, they bought their house with literally no money out of their pocket. There were instances where people were paid to buy a house. They literally got a check at closing. That's not happening now. What happened after 2009 is the federal government stepped in and said, hey, we have to have what's called qualified mortgages, and qualified mortgages prevent all of those things that took place back in leading up to 2008, 2009. So we're not seeing people buy homes with no money down. We're not seeing people buy a home that are stating their income or stating their assets without having to document those things. We're not able to give an approval for a mortgage unless somebody has documentable income. So there's a lot of variables that don't that did exist that don't exist in the market today that prevent a lot of the issues that we saw in the housing crisis back in 2009. Now, a couple things about our market. Over the last 10, 11, 12 years as a country, we would typically build anywhere from 1 to 1.2 new construction homes per year. Well, from 2008 or 2009 all the way until 2021, we've not built more than maybe 200,000 or so homes per year at the most up until maybe 2020. Last year, I think we built over 1 million homes for the calendar year across the nation. But what's important to understand about that is our population growth is not slowing down. Our desire to own a home is not declining, but we are seeing fewer and fewer homes go on the market for sale, and that's creating a housing shortage. So combining the fact that sellers are not selling and that new construction has not kept up pace with population growth over the last decade, that's kind of the perfect storm, and we're about, give or take, 12 million homes short in inventory for what our population would want to purchase. So that's what's causing the inflation in purchase prices of homes. That's what's causing the multiple bidding. And combine all of that with lower interest rates, with the government subsidizing low interest rates, it's super affordable to own a home. It's more expensive to rent a home 99% of the time. And when you look at those two things, the government is basically saying, we want you to own property. Well, until we solve the inventory issue, we're not going to see the market slow down. If interest rates go up and we have higher inflation from the Federal Reserve, you're going to see the market slow down a little bit and you'll see fewer buyers. But basically what it comes down to is there's still going to be a shortage of homes for people looking to buy a home, which is good if you're a seller. Downsizing from maybe your the home that you raised your kids in, and now you want to downsize because you're an empty nester. You're going to downsize because you're going to sell your house at a higher price, and then you're going to buy a smaller home for a lower price. So that's going to work out well. If you're going from renting to buying your first home, you're going to save money because we know that owning a home is less expensive than renting. If you're moving from your first home up to another home, well, now all of a sudden, depending on what you're trying to do, it might cost more money, but ultimately with the total cost of home ownership with where interest rates are at today, you're going to save money in the long run by owning this home. I'm not even talking about appreciation of what the value of the house is. I don't like betting on appreciation because I can't control it. But if you were to buy a home at a specific purchase price and you are locked into a 30-year interest rate on your mortgage, your monthly housing expenses are guaranteed to be the same every single month and never change. So Waiting for the crash to buy a house is probably not a good strategy, knowing that the affordability is so good right now, even with values going up. So if you have questions about anything related to that, don't hesitate to reach out to us. There's some data that we can share with you guys, and make sure that you understand what it looks like. It's not something I recommend for everybody, but the majority of people, it does make sense for them to own versus rent. So if you have questions, give us a shout, 847-603-4778.